Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
What's up, guys? Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and in this video we are going to be discussing the potential of an Ahsoka Season 2, despite Season 1 not even actually out at the time of recording and publishing this video here. That their Ahsoka Season 1 will be coming out a little bit later this year in August. Anyway, let's go ahead and hop right on into it. We have a new tease of one of the stars being very hopeful for an Ahsoka Season 2. And so in this video we are going to be taking a read from the Direct's article. I'll have their article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there, as well as a read. Rosario Dawson, the actress behind a live-action Ahsoka Tano in the Star Wars live-action universe, shared her thoughts about her upcoming Disney Plus series getting more episodes outside of the first batch of episodes in Season 1. It would be an understatement to say for that, and for the fans, Ahsoka is one of the most exciting projects on Lucasfilm's slate, and it's finally something that's actually happening. Ahsoka now being a fan favorite character in the franchise for over 10 plus years, first starring in Star Wars The Clone Wars the movie, throughout the show, Star Wars Rebels, and then of course showing up in live action finally in The Mandalorian Season 2, and also in the Book of Boba Fett. She is finally getting her own show after being such a fan favorite character after such a long time. We finally get to see this character go off on her own adventure, and something that kind of entirely focuses around on Ahsoka. Of course, other projects that we have seen her in have kind of regarded other characters, like Clone Wars is more about Obi-Wan and maybe Anakin and their relationship, or Star Wars Rebels being more focused on the Ghost Crew, The Mandalorian being about The Mandalorian, and the Book of Boba Fett being about Boba Fett, of course. So to have Ahsoka as her own show is very, very exciting and long overdue at that. The show will be Ahsoka's first solo outing and also serve as a continuation of the many story threads in Star Wars Rebels, almost acting as a Season 5 and in a live action of that show. This includes the return of Jedi Ezra Bridger and the fan favorite villain Thrawn, which have had plenty of different teases that we've of course talked about and covered here on the channel. And so, while recently speaking with Empire magazine, Ahsoka star Rosario Dawson spoke on how she hopes more episodes are on the horizon for the show, outside of Season 1 as I had mentioned, and maybe for Season 2. Rosario Dawson noted that she's absolutely putting it out into the universe, and that she's got her ice packs ready to go for a Season 2, saying that, in full quotes with Empire magazine, quote, "I'm absolutely putting it out into the universe. We're joking about it, but I'm manifesting it, because I feel like I helped Dave Filoni, Star Wars mastermind, and Ahsoka's Tano's co-creator manifest this overall role, so I'm ready. I'm excited, I'm willing. I got my ice packs ready for Season 2 and beyond. I would not be mad at that." Ending that quote right there. So of course, really just in that overall quote, she's explaining and kind of hyping up the overall show for one thing, that this is a thing for one thing, and how she kind of feels that she's kind of been a helping hand at Dave Filoni and his overall legacy of creating this character, bringing this character on, and kind of like making his dreams come true to a point. Of course, in a very joking manner, but yeah, it's true, not in a very snotty way, don't get it wrong. But also really to see that she's just as excited as we are, and as willing and as exciting, is something that I'm so hopeful to see. Just that overall attitude and excitement, seeing that many of the people that have worked on the Ahsoka show are simply Star Wars fans themselves, so it's a dream come true for them to work on a Star Wars project. It gets me so beyond excited for Ahsoka. Now, the actress then shared what she loves about the overall character, which includes her extreme confidence and how complex she really is. Now, something with Ahsoka, as I had mentioned earlier on at the beginning of this video, is that we don't really necessarily, I feel like, get to completely dive into her character necessarily, because there's never really been a solo project that solo focuses on Ahsoka. I know, of course, the Ahsoka show is going to kind of act as a Rebels Season 5 and focus on the rest of the Ghost Crew and some other Mandoverse characters, like maybe Boba Fett popping up somewhere, or maybe Mando as well. But that's not going to be able to take away from the fact that we're really dealing with Ahsoka here at the bare narrative of this overall story, as I was getting at, in to comparison of the other shows that she's made an appearance in that aren't necessarily entirely like focused on her. We really get to see like her inner thoughts, I think, to a point, and that is really something that's been very teased here for the Ahsoka show that I'm very excited about, and really also how Rosario Dawson is kind of teasing at the fact of how complex this character is really going to be. We're really going to like feel and see what she is thinking and what she is feeling kind of as we're going alongside with this show here. Now, saying that in full quote with Empire Magazine, quote, "I love how confident she is. She's not fearless, but she never hesitates. She is so willing. But she doesn't have any worries. She does have stress, and she's gone through a lot of anxiety. She's had some really tough crises and traumas in her life. I really dig how complex she is. Even her moments of just finding her way and butting heads and being stubborn and being wrong, having to deal with the pain of what that is when soldiers are dying under her command." Ending that quote right there sounds a little bit like a Clone Wars tease, I think, to a point. If you guys know what I mean there, especially towards the end of that quote, is like my first initial thought and reaction there of how she's talking about how this character is going to deal with that pain and that regret of being around these dying soldiers and a crumbling, falling apart galaxy. It sounds like Clone Wars flashbacks almost to a point. It is exactly what we saw during the Siege of Mandalore and during the Clone Wars Season 7 events, of course. I also just want to say that I love the way that Rosario Dawson points out that she's going to be wrong. She points out that she's going to be stubborn at points, butting heads with some of the other characters, and that is something that I'm very much for. I can't wait to see that kind of character development, that character growth, and to see that same stubborn and kind of reckless, careless Ahsoka that was very young that we see in the Clone Wars animated show, especially in those earlier seasons and also in the Clone Wars movie. Now, this here all being said, we have had a little bit of a tease here. Will Ahsoka get a season 2? Well, let's talk about it. As of last November, The Hollywood Reporter shared that a second season for Ahsoka is not yet official and confirmed to be greenlit. Now, a continuation will depend on how well season 1 performs when it does premiere, onto the regards of its viewership and everything like that. Now, it's something I don't necessarily agree with, of that these major corporations and studios like Disney and Lucasfilm now are basing it off of, well, how well is it performing? How much money is it bringing in? And what's the viewership like here for these projects and for these shows? Not necessarily into like garnering that to exactly what Lucasfilm was in the George Lucas days, exactly, of where he was doing it for the thrill of it, for the story of it. And that is something I would love to see a little bit more with. That goes for all overall movie and kind of just studios, overall like Marvel Studios as well. And I feel like that we are getting back to that point, but that is beyond the point. It is really into the regards of how well season 1 is going to do. There's a mad hype for this. I think it's almost as hype as the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and that had a lot of hype going for it. So I think that we can be very hopeful for it, and we're all looking forward to the Ahsoka show, obviously, so we're all probably going to be watching it, better viewership, and more likely for a season 2. Now, from the looks of it, fans being extremely excited, as I had mentioned, so it's hard to imagine that not being enough demand for more episodes. I think is the key word there, demand. This will be especially true once the show incorporates both Ezra Bridger and Thrawn into the mix and really brings them to the forefront of this overall show and setting them up for the future continuation of other Mandoverse projects at the same time, maybe outside of Ahsoka. Now, one thing that does help the series and its chances is how this inclusion of Thrawn, the project is clearly one of the key stepping stones for Dave Filoni's big crossover Mandoverse movie that is kind of a confirmed thing. A second season could also give more time to Rebels characters who audiences are dying to see the return of. Maybe Zeb can get a bigger appearance than just his small brief cameo in The Mandalorian, and we're able to learn and expand much more on the Ghost Crew in this era of Star Wars. Now, guys, I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Guys, what do you want to see with Ahsoka Season 2? If it's a Season 2, if we get that, I would love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks so much for watching today's video, guys. Have a great one. This has been Unofficial Star Wars. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.